Thank you for joining us on NetwebTV. My name is Mongezi Mtati. In our first show for 2010, we've got the world-renowned Seth Godin. He's the author of many bestsellers, including Permission Marketing, Purple Cow, Tribes. He's at it again this year, launching a book called Linchpin, Are You Indispensable? We'll be talking to him a bit about it. Seth, welcome to NetwebTV.
Well, thanks for having me. I wish I could be there in person with you today.
Seth, I know you're launching a book called Linchpin.
That's it.
What is this book about?
The world has changed really fundamentally in just a couple years. It's changed from a world where the best way to succeed was to do what you were told, to follow the manual, to fit in, to be part of the big machine of work, to a world where if you do those things, you're going to get outsourced, downsized, disrespected, and replaced. And what my book is trying to do is let people know that they have a choice. And the choice is to stand out, to do work without a manual, to create art, to be human, to make a connection. And if you do those things, not only are you happier, but you're actually in more demand and you make a bigger difference.
I've got a brief review of the book prior to the launch. What is the linchpin economy? That's one of the things that struck me while I was reading it. What's the linchpin economy?
Well, I guess here's the question. Why should I hire you? And if I do hire you, why should I pay you more than I can get from someone else who's cheaper? And the answer to that question used to be, you should hire me because I'm here at your factory. You can't hire someone across the world because they can't work in your factory. But the linchpin economy now says, wait, it doesn't matter where the factory is. The factory part's not so important. The linchpin economy is driven by people who have big ideas, who make change, who connect. And that's the people who are winning today. And the question is, why not you?
One of the things you talked about is giving. That in the caveman culture, people gave things because they also had an abundance of resources, and they gave as much as they could. But now in my case, I'm trying to develop a business, and the sole purpose of developing a business is to make a profit. I'm doing it to pay the rent at the end of the month, to make a living. How do I strike a balance between giving away for free and still being able to make a living?
Well, if you have a poverty mindset, the mindset of poverty is me. I need more. I need to hold on to things. If you have a mindset of wealth, a mindset of power, a mindset of authority, you say, I can be generous. Why would you give away everything? Because the only people who could do that were people with real power. And if you could afford to give away everything, more came back to you because of the signal that you were sending the world. If I say, give me money, I will give you this, then we're done. Even Steven. The problem with even Steven, the problem with the transaction, is at the end, no one owes anybody. And the way you grow a small business is by having people owe you attention, owe you allegiance. The internet makes it easier than ever to give. And the more you are generous, the more people need you. The more they will seek you out because they like your generosity. And that's where the win comes. The win comes when people who need you and seek you out realize they need to pay now. They need to pay for the custom work. They need to pay for you to drop everything and help them.
Giving is sort of becoming the culture. It's building up a new economy in itself. Is this a fad, a flavor of the month? Where is it going?
Well, the dynamic was this. If you had a factory and you gave a free sample to everyone, you would go bankrupt. You can't afford to give away physical items to large numbers of people. But if you make ideas and you give a free sample to everyone, you're rich. Because the more your ideas spread, the better you do. So what we know, for example, is if the Beatles or Willie Nelson had never been played on the radio, no one would have ever heard of them. They never would have sold a record. The radio gives your music away for free. The more you get your song played, the more you sell. What's that about? What it's about is if you are in the idea business, and I hope you are, the more you share your ideas, the better you do.
So is it not for everyone? Is it not for every company in any industry?
There are people who make, an item, right? And if you want that company to do well, you better figure out how to put ideas around that item. Those ideas spread so that people then buy your item, right? So if we look at someone like Louis Vuitton, who sells very expensive handbags and things like that, they make an item, but no one pays for the item. They're paying for the idea that comes with the item, the idea of luxury, the idea of the brand. So the more their brand spreads, the more the idea of luxury spreads, the better they do, because people want to own the souvenir that goes with the idea.
Great, great. Now, if there's one thing that you want your reader to walk away from the book with, what would it be?
I want you to make a choice. You have to choose. Either you're going to spend the next few years fitting in, struggling, fighting for your share, or you're going to spend the next few years standing out, making a difference, making change happen. You can't do both. You got to do one or the other. What I'm pushing you to do is choose to be remarkable. And once you make the choice, you'll figure the rest out.
Thank you for taking a moment to chat to us, Seth. We hope we can do this again soon.
It's my pleasure.
And thank you for joining us on NetwebTV.